this is a guitar chord overview for Stevie Wonder's Don't You Worry About a Thing, the Paul Murtha arrangement that we're doing for jazz band. So what I'm going to do is play through the kind of three main chunks of the song that the guitar player has to worry about. We've got that descending D minor pattern. We've got the middle section, the chorus, with that F major 7, those couple slash chords, and then we've got the descending chromatic suspension pattern. So what I'm going to do is play through all three of those and talk about some right hand plucking and some left hand fingering patterns that are going to make this a little more easy and comfortable to play. So let's get started. So what we're going to want to do first is tune. I'm all tuned up, so here's my E, A, D, G, B, and E. Great, so now that we're tuned up, I'm going to play through the first phrase. It's this descending chromatic D minor pattern that we have at the beginning and throughout the song. So it starts with just a D minor chord. Ordinarily we would play that here or in first position, but we're going to play up at the 10th fret. That's going to allow us to easily get this chromatic walk down with the root, the major 7, the minor 7, and then parlay that into the rest of the lick. So we're going to play our D minor chord in a slightly modified shape. Ordinarily a minor chord on the E string would be 10, 12, 12, and then 10 the rest of the way down. We're going to omit the 5th from the chord and just play bottom 4 strings and walk down that way. So we're going to play 12, 10, 10, 10, 11 for the D minor major 7, and then just barring the 10th fret for the D minor 7. You can play that like so. You can include the low D on the E string with your thumb, but that's also covered in the bass and the piano, so you don't really need to do that if you don't want to make the bar chord. The G9 or G7 add 9 is going to be G, B, F, A, or 10, 9, 10, 10, using an A string dominant 7 shape with our pinky on the 9th. So that all together sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. We then go to a C minor 7, which is going to be on the 8th fret. So 8, 8, 8, and we skip over the A string. That goes to an F7, which is just our dominant 7 chord shape on the A string, to a B flat major 7, which is going to be B flat, A, and D, or 6, 7, 7, skipping over the A string again. All of these E string voicings skip over the A string. These are what are called shell voicings. So we just have the root, the 7th, and the 3rd. So to all go through that whole lick again is as follows: 1, 2, 3, 4. Then down to an A7. 5, 5, 6, skipping over the A string. And then back around. The second time, we don't go to the A7. The second time, we go from that C, F, B flat. We land on an E flat major 7, which we can either do as a bar chord. So starting on the A string, it would be 6, 8, 6, 8, 7, 8, 6. Or we could do it as a shell voicing with just 6, 5, 7. So that would be E flat, G, D. It's a little easier to get to the shell voicing than the bar chord from our B flat major 7. It's easier to get to the shell voicing because they have that common tone, that D. And so that's the opening section. That's the verse. Play through it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat. flat major 7 for the chorus. So we're going to use a bar chord fingering for the F major 7 in the next measure. So now we're kind of into our second chunk, our second series of chords. So that starts with an F major 7. And that bounces back and forth between that and the E flat over F. So that's going to basically be a bar chord, just barring a 1-finger bar chord at the 8th fret. So you're going from the E flat, the F major 7 to that 1-finger bar chord in the same place and back. So that's going to sound like this. That goes to an A7, B flat major 7s. We already know those. That has a little chromatic walk down to a G major 7. So these are shapes that all transpose. We can add our pinky there if we want to make it give a little more color with some upper extensions. The B flat / C is going to be the same shape that we did for our E flat over F. We're just going to move it down to the 3rd fret. So it's just a 1-finger bar chord. So you have your C and then your B flat major triad there. F, B flat, D. So now I'm going to play through that section again. I'm going to start from the beginning and go through both sections at once. So starting from the D minor walk down. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. And that leads us into now the kind of the chromatic walk down with all these suspension major chord, suspension major chord. And this on guitar is going to be a lot simpler than it would be on piano because we're just moving this shape down 1 fret at a time. So we're going to start with the F sus chord, so which is basically an F major triad. So C, F, A. It's going to take the 3rd of that chord, that A, move it up a half step. And so we're going to do that with our first finger, or our middle finger rather, on the B string. So we're starting at the 10th fret, the D string 10th fret, G string 10th fret, B string 11th fret. So we're going to do the suspension and then the release. Move down a half step for the E sus. Suspension, release. E flat, D, D flat, C, and then we land in the G9 chord, which is going to be a bit of a new shape. So we're going to use the bottom 4 strings, 3, 2, 3, 3. So that's, I'm sorry, the F9 rather. It's going to be F, A, D, and G. So it's kind of like an F major chord with that, those extra color notes on the top. So that chromatic walk down at tempo is going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3. And then it comes back around the A7, brings it back around to the D. So that's essentially the whole tune. There are some variations. There are some sections on the 2nd page that have different resolutions, but all the chords for those I've covered in this first half. So I hope you find this helpful. See you in jazz band.